Hi guys, Ryan from Mechanic.com.au, Australia's #1 mechanic community. And today we talk about diagnostic monitors and how they relate to fault codes. If you haven't already watched our short video on scan tool tips and traps, we recommend doing that first. Monitors are the programs in an ECU that check for faults. Most fault codes are set by a monitor, and these monitors fall into 4 main categories. The first is called the Comprehensive Component Monitor, or CCM. This monitor looks for inconsistencies on circuits, like an open or short circuit, as well as implausible relationships. What I mean by implausible relationships is data that's presented to the ECU that's highly unlikely to occur. An example of this might be a throttle position of 0% paired with a manifold vacuum of 0 inches of mercury. These two conditions can't simultaneously occur on a typical petrol engine unless it's switched off. These types of faults are usually the easiest to diagnose, provided the fault is present, as you'll most likely find an abnormal parameter ID in live data. The second is the fuel trim monitor. This monitor watches the fuel trims and sets a fault code once the system has reached its maximum adaptation. In other words, added or subtracted as much fuel as it possibly can in an attempt to correct a problem. The third monitor is the Misfire Monitor. The Misfire Monitor generally watches the crankshaft position signal to ensure the speed is consistent. If the crankshaft signal slows down at any particular point, this can indicate a misfire. The ECU can generally pick which cylinder is causing the misfire by correlating it with the camshaft position signal to see which cylinder was meant to be on compression. This is not a foolproof system, however. The ECU may not always pick the correct cylinder, and sometimes even drivetrain vibrations can cause false misfire codes, especially on manual front-wheel drive vehicles. These 3 types of monitors generally run all of the time, whereas the next type, main monitors, will generally only run once per trip if the conditions are correct. Tests carried out by main monitors include catalyst efficiency, exhaust gas recirculation, and fuel system leak tests. These monitors only run after certain conditions have been met, like once the engine's up to operating temperature or after the vehicle's been sitting for a set amount of time. There may also be other monitors used on engines to performance test different systems. There are some important considerations to take into account when dealing with monitors for fault diagnosis. One of which is understanding how readiness tests are carried out, so be sure to watch our video on readiness testing.